Hello everyone, let's have more news about the Warriors. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Guys, trade rumors get update. Warriors could benefit. The Golden State Warriors are well into starting their preparations for what could be a massive 2025 NBA offseason. What is at the top of their wish list? That would probably be Giannis Antetokounmpo. The expectation from a large part of the NBA community is that Antetokounmpo has played his last game with the Milwaukee Bucks. 3 straight first-round exits by the Bucks have the NBA world on the edge of their seats, anticipating a trade request. If when that day finally comes, the Warriors would love an opportunity to acquire the superstar who could extend this current championship window past the playing days of Stephen Curry. There is some room for hope that this will come to pass. New reports suggest Antetokounmpo controls his future. With Antetokounmpo being such a massive figure, literally and figuratively, in Bucks franchise history, many would expect the organization to owe him the opportunity to pick his next team. A recent report suggested Giannis controlling his future. Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report weighed in on the situation in Milwaukee. The national NBA writer expects the Bucks superstar to be in the driver's seat according to his sources. Warriors fans have been going collectively bonkers over the fact that Antetokounmpo has been spending the recent portion of his off-season in San Francisco. That added to a longer list of reasons as to why Warriors could be a preferable destination. It will be a long time before anything is confirmed or finalized in this saga. Warriors fans will be glued to their seats until then. Now, let's go to another video. Don't forget to leave a like incentive. I got a little bit something down here. Like this video to add better role players. Manifest it for me and let's beat our record for the most likes on a video maybe this year. Alright, this is the full quote from Brett Siegel talking about the Warriors off-season. We might address other aspects of what he had to say for it, but as for now, he says, Andrew Wiggins was a player that was a shooter off on the ball on the wing and could also create scoring opportunities for himself. The Dubs help to find another player like that who can wear many different hats on the wing and can be a lead secondary scoring threat. Caris LeVert and Bruce Brown are 2 names to keep an eye on in this regard for Golden State. Absolutely. We all know that Golden State has a couple of needs and all of them really involve size. Yes. They completely lack a true center that I believe could play 25 to 30 minutes a night. They also though lack a lot of size on the wing. Like when you think about this Golden State team outside of Jimmy Butler, and is Jonathan Kuminga going to return? That's a question for a different day. But signs point to right now it's more likely than not that he's played his last game as a Warrior. They need size on the wing. Santos is really the only guy coming off the bench that really provided anything in that regard for Golden State. So they don't not only need size on the wing, they also need somebody who can put the ball in the cup on the wing as well. Jimmy Butler we know isn't the scoring threat that he once was, and it will likely be a guy who's more of a connector than a true secondary scoring option. So, as for what Golden State can do to add talent to the roster at this point, well, for in the sense of free agency, they have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. That's probably something that we're going to be focusing on today. They also have the biannual exception. Maybe a couple of guys and one of the guys we can talk about on this show will fit into that exception. They also have 2 trade exceptions, the second-round draft pick and the vet minimum as well. But that's not what we're talking about on today's show. Let's get into those 2 names that Brett Siegel talked about in that quote. And in all likelihood, you're going to have to use the non-taxpayer mid-level exception to go get a guy like Caris LeVert. And I like Caris LeVert a lot as somebody who has had very good playoff success in the past as well. You know, maybe that was pre-2020, but still a guy who could fill up the stat sheet, get buckets in bunches, and somebody who I think could be a 6th Man of the Year candidate potentially if he were to come to Golden State. He's put up really consistent numbers over the last couple of years. Yeah, it's a fall off from 2,122 where he averaged 17 points a game, but you know, it off the bench for Atlanta and Cleveland over the past couple of seasons has been somebody who's valuable and is worthy of getting paid, you know. 14-15 million a season. And is he the most efficient shooter in the world? Number. But he has the ability to kind of have these different scoring bursts and punches. And that's kind of really what I'm looking for from Caris LeVert. Somebody who can ease the pressure off of a Steph, off of a Jimmy, and if they're not on the floor at a certain period of time, he can just kind of man the second unit and go do the Caris LeVert show and go get some buckets. Now, is he the most efficient three-point shooter? Number. On the catch last year, shot 35% above the break. He shot the same percentage, but in the corners, only on 90 attempts, about 1 a game in a corner 3. He's showing 42% from there. I could deal with that, especially when, Jimmy and Steph carry so much gravity on offense. If he's going to be out there on the floor with them, then you better be able to go out there and hit the corner 3. The pull of 3 percentage is also a very low volume as well. But I'm encouraged by his off-of-the-dribble abilities as a scorer. We know Golden State does not have a ton of that. So, what do you get in Caris LeVert as a player? More of a detailed scouting report here. He is a streaky player like he some nights he's going to have 3 or 4 points. Other nights he's going to have 20 to 25 points. It's just that kind of guy. He's not a high volume or a high efficiency three-point shooter. Throughout his career, he's hovered anywhere from 32 to 37%. So about mediocre to league average. He's also a good transition player. Like he's going to give you the energy. I watched a good number of clips from him from 23-24. He's diving on the floor for loose balls. He is trying his best out there. But overall he's not the greatest defender. Like the numbers suggest that he can't really D up, and his team defense overall over the years has not been great. Just as a one-on-one defender, he's not going to be the player that I'm looking for first out of the bin, but I think the offensive capabilities are really what you're looking for here in LeVert. I like the fit, honestly. Like Golden State just needs somebody who can go get theirs out of the ISO. Next up though, we're going to talk about Bruce Brown. And I wanted to kind of cut this video in half today because I really believe that LeVert and Bruce Brown both provide much different skill sets for Golden State, albeit, kind of being along the same mold of players. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to our sponsor on the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Just pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, whether it's basketball, baseball, hockey should favor over a Caris LeVert. We are going to examine that right here right now. So Bruce Brown, like we know, he was an integral part of the Denver Nuggets championship run back in 2023. And ever since lifting that Larry O'Brien trophy, their Warriors have had reported trade interest in Bruce Brown all the way up to now. And now Brett Siegel brings the name up again. And with him hitting free agency this summer after signing that 2-year, I believe it was $40 million contract. He was making $20 million a season, something the Nuggets could not match. But he's now going to be hitting free agency. And I think is an athletic point of attack defending slashing wing. This is a guy that, another kind of player that Golden State doesn't really have on the roster right now. And he's put up consistent production across the board throughout his NBA career. Like definitely more of an efficient player because he isn't as much of a straight up perimeter guy as LeVert is. But this is a guy who can finish at the rim, finish through contact, create turnovers, not going to be your lights out and knock down high volume shooter. Even relative to Caris LeVert, but he is going to be able to make athletic plays and is going to be able to defend guards at a pretty high level and even some wings and bigs, as he plays a lot bigger than his 6'4" frame. But like I said, he's not going to be a very good shooter really whatsoever. On catch and shoot attempts last year, he shot an abysmal 32.8%, 78%. And guess what? That was only on 68 attempts. Like he's not taken a lot of threes at all. Above the break, he was even worse. And then in the corner, he actually was pretty solid. Like 42 attempts, he shot 40%. Like fine. But if we're signing Bruce Brown here, I'm not signing him with the intent of him becoming a volume shooter in this Golden State offense, even though we know they like to get up a ton of threes. But more on Brown here as far as a score scouting report goes. Like he's a slasher at the end of the day. Like he has a little bit of the in-between game. Got that floater working a little bit well. But what you're really asking for from Bruce Brown is to bring you high energy, high effort, and be that point of attack defender who's a big body and tough to get by for a lot of these high octane guards in this league. He can create turnovers. He can get out in transition. Like I said, really good finisher through contact. And he's also a really good screen setter. And that's what I think could be X factor for him being signed by Golden State. Will work super well in the short role as being a guy who could either hit that floater, take one dribble, go up with it, or hit a Golden State player that's open on the perimeter as well. I think he would fit in magnificently in this Golden State offense, even though he himself is not the best floor spacer. Somebody else on this Golden State Warriors rotation who's not a floor spacer, but fits this mold, like you guys are probably being reminded of somebody right now, and that's the mitten GP2. This is your Gary Payton, the second replacement. They're both 6'4", but Bruce Brown feels a lot bigger than GP2. And to be quite honest with you, even though Gary Payton II wants to come back to Golden State next season, I wasn't entirely impressed. Yes, he punched above his weight class when it comes to his offensive capabilities. But defensively I was really like there's a lot left to be desired for Gary Payton. Like he got cooked by Anthony Edwards. He was kind of getting cooked by Jalen Green or Fred VanVleet, whatever guard was attacking him on the Rockets. And for a 6'4" guy who plays primarily out of the dunker spot, like I think Bruce Brown would be a massive upgrade over GP2 while providing a lot of the same positives that the mitten does. So, pick one to trade for me. They both provide a lot of different skill sets, but I believe both do fit in Golden State's roster and system and could provide positive things for Golden State in 2025-26. If it's Caris LeVert, give me a CL in the comment section. If it's a Bruce Brown, give me those double B's. Let me know what you guys think. Bring me Caris LeVert in this situation. Man, I'm not a hater on Bruce Brown. I've actually always loved the energy that he plays with, and he was a winning player in Denver. No doubt about it. He's kind of been in crappy situations ever since then. But overall, LeVert just provides to me more of what Golden State is looking for this offseason. That's some sort of relief scoring the basketball. Like what couldn't Golden State do when Steph Curry got injured? Oh yeah. Put the ball in the basket. That's the goal of this game, isn't it? Like win games and put the ball in the cup. Golden State did not do enough of that clearly in the playoffs, and they're going to need to address it in this offseason. LeVert can get his shot from anywhere on the court in between game. 3 balls, okay, and he can finish at the rim as well and get out in transition. Yeah. He can fill up the stat sheet when it comes to getting buckets. I want Caris LeVert if we're picking out of these two guys, that's for sure. And before we get out of here today, I just want to leave the real ones who are still watching this video with this. Golden State is going to make upgrades this season. Like there's no doubt about it. They are going to upgrade this roster. And it's not only going to come from free agency. Like yes, they have the non-taxpayer mid-level. They got the Banuel. Like they got other ways to sign people. But mostly in my opinion, what's going to shape this roster is the trademark this off-season. Mike Dunleavy said this, "We are good giving up whatever it takes." Mike Dunleavy in his little circle of trust, they are hell-bent on doing whatever it takes to give Steph Curry, Draymond Green their 5th title and to bring Jimmy his 1st. I'm all in and I believe in Mike Dunleavy. He sees the vision and knows that Joe Lake needs to be nowhere near basketball decision-making. So, let's talk about a quick R5 quick Warriors trade targets. One's going to be very quick because I don't think this is happening at all, even though there's reported interest lately, so he's on the list. Derek White of the Celtics would likely be maybe the most perfect player in NBA history to play alongside Steph Curry. I would love it, but it's probably not going to happen. Cam Johnson, that's a little more realistic. I'm in on that size, versatility, elite shooting from all spots on the floor. Love me some Cam Johnson. Kobe White is a name that's running hot around Warriors Twitter right now. I like him as a scoring guard and somebody who can give you that punch off the bench. Maybe you start a mix of Steph as being the primary ball handler and Steph plays a little bit more of the two. What about Daniel Gafford, who I talked about in my perfect off-season video? He's pretty solid when it comes to what he makes right now. Makes about $13 million, and I think for Golden State's rebounding issues, he would provide a lot of positives there. And then Wendell Carter, kind of a best of both worlds. He can board up and space the floor as that, starting center of the future for Golden State. I think he fits magnificently. Solid shot blocker as well. So, with that being said, that'll do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because if any of these rumors materialize, we will be bringing you the latest right here at Warriors Today. Lock us in the #1 spot for Warriors content all off season long. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs on the Warriors summer of Giannis. First though, I need you to hit subscribe. I'm Arthur Baester. This is Warriors Digest. We bring you daily videos breaking down everything going on with the Warriors. If you're part of the 30% who watches the videos on a regular basis but isn't subscribed, just hit the button so you're in the loop because the news is moving fast. Furious. A new report out on Giannis Antetokounmpo requesting a trade amid Warriors rumors. This is from Sports Illustrated. Now they're talking about a story from NBA insider Eric Pincus who details what is being talked about at the NBA Combine in Chicago and what NBA executives and agents what the whispering is going on behind the scenes here. So this is the report from Eric Pincus. So according to Bleacher Report, the anticipation is Antetokounmpo will request a trade out. So, this is the quote, several agents have been pulled at recent NBA Combine in Chicago and they believe that the former NBA MVP will direct the Bucks to send him to his preferred location. Now, this is an update as of course there's been a lot of speculation after Shams reported that Giannis was open to a future outside of Milwaukee. That didn't go into detail about him requesting a trade to a specific spot, which is key to the Warriors landing him if they are going to, and I'll explain why in just a second. But this is a new wrinkle to the story here that the speculation is he will be asking the Bucks to send him to his preferred location, whatever it might be. So, this is interesting as it starts to give a little bit more hope that we can get some of these AI mock-ups in real life with Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry. Hold on, though. This is still a monumental task to pull off and we'll break it all down. But I was going to explain something to you about why this benefits the Warriors because when you look at something like this, their Warriors don't necessarily have all the pieces that the Bucks would want. Why would the Bucks want to take an aging Jimmy Butler to make the salary cap work? Do the Warriors have enough picks? Probably not. There's a lot of misleading BS headlines out there. And I want to be real with you here. Stuff like this. Brian Windhorst says the Warriors have a path to a Giannis trade but can't win a bidding war. There has been a lot of talk about what Brian Windhorst said on Get Up recently where he said that their Warriors, yes, theoretically they have a path to Giannis, but they don't have enough pieces to win the bidding war. Well, everybody ran with that out of context and started saying that, oh, Windhorst is saying that the Warriors have the pieces. No, that's not what he was saying. Lots of BS flying around, but I need you to stick with me here because we're going deep down a Warriors rabbit hole, and it's going to get weird here. So, first of all, I want to bring up Exhibit A that is sending Warriors fans into an absolute frenzy. Now, a couple of days ago, Giannis, as you can see in this video, was spotted by a member of the Warriors Reddit community checking into the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. So, everybody goes crazy. Well, Why is Giannis in San Francisco? There's the headlines coming out about it. Yes, Giannis is staying in a hotel in San Francisco. No, it's not to visit the Warriors. So, what is it for? He's at a Google One conference hyping up the crowd. Thousands of people in attendance, and still we can't get a single video that's better than this 2-second clip. I can't even tell if that's Giannis. But we're going down deeper into the rabbit hole. Follow me here, cuz there's some interesting tidbits on Giannis and the connection to the Warriors. I swear you're not going to lose your mind like I am. We're not losing our mind here when we do this, right? This is me. We're connecting the dots here. So, let's go a little bit deeper. Reddit Fresno reports out saying that they're seeing Giannis in Fresno. That's about 4 miles away. Excuse me. 4 hours away from San Francisco. What is Giannis doing out there? Well, I did a little bit more digging. He went to a graduation. As we see here, the Reddit person is saying, oh, he was at Fresno State's commencement. Well, just so happens that his wife has major family ties to Fresno. Why do I know about his wife's ties to Fresno? Because we are too deep in this rabbit hole. People, we're going too far. Giannis is probably not coming to the Warriors, but it's the only hope a lot of us have, and we got a lot of stuff to figure out here. I'm losing my mind at all of this, but we're going to go even deeper here because they're like, oh, well, there's also another connection here. Brook Lopez, who the Warriors have been rumored to be getting a teammate of Giannis. He's from Fresno, too. And if you look back at one of my videos on Brook Lopez, you'll see that I disparaged Fresno in an awful way, and I'm actually very sorry for it. If you're from Fresno, you're probably a great person. I have family in Fresno. They're not great people. I digress. What's he doing in all of these areas here? It's sending Warriors fans into a frenzy. There's crazy reports coming out. Let's just hold our horses just a little bit here. We all want to see Giannis. But this is getting weird. There's a headlines coming out like this where we're drawing conclusions about Giannis, and Quinten Post sparks Warriors rumors with comments. The comment was that he loves to play as Steph Curry on 2K, and we're running with let's slow down. He potentially could come to the Warriors. If Joel Up decides we're going all in, and if Giannis says I want to come to San Francisco, Milwaukee trade me there. No matter what, Milwaukee is going to find a way because this man meant so much to that city that they're going to do him right. But they're also going to want to get something back in return. Their Warriors just don't have the pieces necessarily to fully make sense without trading somebody like Jimmy Butler. I would also like to point out as another exhibit here, as I'm on a roll, that if you look at the teams left in the playoffs, OKC, Minnesota, Indy, New York, there is not one single team with a $50 million player on the payroll right now. Karl Anthony Towns makes $49 million for the Knicks. Their Warriors in essence would have two guys making almost $60 million. When you look at what Steph is going to make next year, and Giannis is about $54 million. Jimmy Butler is $54 million. There's no way you keep all three on the team at the same time. It's wild. But the NBA is shifting away, as you see. These are deep teams that are left in the playoffs. Their Warriors would be gutted by adding Giannis. So, let's just not get too far ahead of ourselves, because Giannis coming in means we're gutted, means we have an incredible starting five in some sense and one of the best duos ever in the league. And that's exciting. But if we are watching and looking at what is winning championships and what is going far in the playoffs in the NBA in 2025, it's youth and depth. So, just let's be careful. I know we only got one more shot left at Steph's fifth ring, and it's probably next year, and this is probably the best shot at it. But damn, it's going to cost a lot, and we're going to be cooked for years after. So, let's just see where the rumors keep going. Watch out for the fake stuff out there and keep following me down this deep hole that we're all getting ourselves into. I have a family. Why am I so concerned about whether or not Giannis' wife is from Fresno and what's her connection to Fresno? I don't know. But to all of you, good night to the good people of Fresno. Have a wonderful life, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. piece. Warriors predicted to trade Jonathan Kuminga to Bulls in off-season to address major team need with their season coming to a close in the second round of the playoffs. The Golden State Warriors now have a crucial off-season ahead of them. Golden State had a great second half to the season after acquiring Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat to pair alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Unfortunately for the Warriors, they were unable to make a deep playoff run with their new-look roster after Curry suffered a hamstring injury in their second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, eventually losing the series in 5 games. Now, their Warriors will look to upgrade their roster in the off-season to build around their aging core, but they also have a key decision to make regarding one of their young players. That player is Jonathan Kuminga, who will be a restricted free agent this off-season. Because of this, their Warriors need to decide whether they see Kuminga as a key piece of their future, which did not seem the case in the playoffs. With Kuminga likely on the move this summer, Bleacher Report's Andy Bailey recently predicted that Golden State will send him to the Chicago Bulls via a sign and trade that would allow the Warriors to fill a much-needed position. In the trade, Bailey has Golden State sending Kuminga to Chicago for Nikola Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, and a 2029 top 5 protected first-round pick. Of course, their Warriors showed interest in Vucevic at the trade deadline due to their lack of a center, but they were unable to land the veteran big man. By making this trade, that would change as they would not only add a much-needed starting center, but also acquire a solid backup point guard in Ball that would be able to bring a spark off the bench. This trade would also work out for Kuminga as he would receive a larger role in Chicago than he did in Golden State. Though the Bulls may want more in return for a trade involving both Vucevic and Ball. Either way, adding Vucevic in the off-season would be a major boost to the Warriors' front court as they try to win another championship next season. And you fan, what do you think about Nikola Vucevic's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.